One of the things I really like about Lightroom is its extendable plugin architecture. There are a huge number of providers out there who are coming up with interesting ways to help us blend files, for example, or publish them to the internet. Companies like Photomatix or Infuse for Lightroom or SmugMug or PhotoShelter are all coming up with these plugin facilities that can be incorporated in our Lightroom workflow. And what I'd like to share with you in this session is one simple principle that I've found to be quite useful when working with plugins in Lightroom, which is to store them in the same folder. Theoretically, Lightroom could go to any folder on your computer when it's trying to look for an external plugin and incorporate that in Lightroom or reference it in Lightroom. It makes life much simpler if you have some consistent policy as to where you store your plugin applications. This makes it easier to install them first of all, but it also makes it much easier to back up your data if you want to ensure that your Lightroom application support is safely backed up elsewhere. This can be really useful to find all your plugins in one folder. If you have a data crash, for example, it's a real pain to have to go back to all these different suppliers and ask for a new download key. And the best way to show you the location of this plugin folder is by going to the File menu and down to the Plugin Manager. And in here I have the Infuse for Lightroom plugin ready installed. And by clicking on the Show in Finder, we can look at the folder path where it's really recommended to store your plugins in Lightroom. So it's stored in Library and then in Application Support, specifically for Adobe. And of course, within Adobe, we're after Lightroom itself. And Lightroom contains this really useful folder called Modules. And inside Modules are all my currently stored plugins. I've got everything from Infuse for Lightroom to Photomatix, SmugMug, color profile generators from Xrite. The list goes on. This is where you can store your plugins. And first of all, it makes it much easier. When you come to install the plugin, you know that you can go to that one folder and find them really reliably. Let's say you want to create a new catalog or upgrade Lightroom, this will be where they're stored. Equally, if you want to back up your data, it's a fairly straightforward thing to go back to the application support folder and ensure that that's backed up, and in so doing you'll know that everything relevant to Adobe, but specifically to Lightroom, notably the modules and all your plugins, are going to be safely backed up in one place. So just ensure when you come to download a plugin from a third-party provider that you copy the plugin from your downloads folder to this modules folder before installing in Lightroom. It'll make it much easier to find it and much easier to back it up.